Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my review for Strafe, and this is actually the first game I'm reviewing since I came back to YouTube, and there's a few reasons for that. Strafe is a roguelike first-person shooter, which are two types of games that I play a lot. Well, mostly the first-person shooter part. I've been playing roguelikes lately. So I feel like Strafe is a good first game to review combining those two genres. And for those of you who've played Strafe, you might be wondering, well, why Strafe? There's other good roguelikes out there. And my answer to you would be, well, why not? I recently got back into YouTube when recording this video, and Strafe happened to be a game I was playing at the time, and the Gold Edition recently came out, so here you go. I also hope it anticipates you guys to see different types of games on my channel. Anyway, for those of you who don't care and just want to see the review, let's get into it. So like I said, Strafe is a roguelike first-person shooter, and if you can't tell, it kind of looks like Quake, but don't let that fool you. This game is more of a roguelike than it is anything like Quake or any old school shooter for that matter. The only thing this game has to do with old shooters is its presentation. And when it comes to the graphics and the look of this game, it does a pretty good job pulling that off. The tutorial is executed amazingly. This babe steals the show, to be honest. And look at these menu screens. Very retro, and I think that's too far. The look of this game might turn some people off, but me personally, I don't mind. But if you can't get past the graphics, you're watching the wrong review, my guy. But I wouldn't blame you if you thought the game looked kind of bland, even with the old school vibe. And that gets into one of my first critiques for Strafe, and that is the level design. Now, I know Strafe is a roguelike, so that usually means auto-generated random levels, and as much as that sounds like infinite replayability, it's not always executed that well. You don't want a No Man's Sky level of diversity, at least that game at launch. Now, I'm not saying the level design is that bad, it just doesn't have variety to last a very long time, at least for me. It makes me wish there was a full campaign to take advantage of everything else this game does right. The gameplay and weapons are fun and smooth. I mostly like using the shotgun, and the machine gun is pretty fun too. These guns shoot normally as you would expect, but also have a secondary shot. For example, the machine gun has a noob tube, and it costs most of your mag to use, so it could be fun balancing these two firing modes, and you kind of have to keep an eye on your ammo because of this. There's a decent amount of guns you could find around the map to use temporarily. These guns feel good to use because they're usually pretty powerful, especially with this mobility. Like, this game gets bunny hopping down to a science. It is so perfect. It could be so fun strafing around with a shotgun, gaining momentum while popping guys in the head. That's where some pure joy can come from this game. You can also run into shops here and there, and you have two types of currency. Scrap, which you get from killing enemies, then there's these credits you could spend at the shop. You can get cool upgrades for that run. You can avoid paying if you kill the guy at the shop and survive, and some guns make that easier than others. That's the type of progression you can get during your specific run. Now, what do you grind for overall? After beating the game once, not too much, and that's my problem with most roguelikes, and why I usually prefer roguelites. My main motive at first was beating the game and getting through each level, and that only took me about 4 hours, and after that I just went achievement hunting and playing different game modes for a few more hours. You can unlock different ways to play through this progress bar just from playing the game. I mean, they're fun gimmicks, but nothing to keep you around, although that RPG game mode where you gain XP and level up and get perks was a pretty cool idea. But none of these game modes or slight progressions kept me playing for very long. I think the replayability would be tough on most people. I felt satisfied enough at around 7 hours, and a lot of the user reviews have even less than that. but I think a lot of the people who enjoy roguelikes a lot can maybe get 20 or more hours out of this game. This is a pretty good roguelike. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just prefer roguelites and a certain type of longevity in my games. You know, the more you learn about me as a reviewer, you'll see what I like and what I don't like in certain types of games. I came into Strafe as a longtime first-person shooter player and a newer roguelike player. So if you're like me, I think you're less likely to enjoy the game fully, but they're still definitely fun to be had. Same goes for those of you who wanted a boomer shooter. If you're more of a roguelike player who doesn't mind or likes shooters, I'd recommend Strafe to you the most. This is a fun game, you just have to be the right demographic for it. I think I'm almost the right demographic for it. I'm just short of really enjoying the game. Even small things like achievements for getting kills or beating the game a certain amount of times would keep me playing longer. That's why I played Murder Zone. It was a pretty cool game mode I would have never really cared about if it wasn't for the achievements. I just need something to keep me going, you know? Statistics, leaderboards, achievements, something. But that's just me personally. I hope I described the game and expressed my thoughts well enough for you to have an impression on the game, or maybe even decide if you're gonna buy it yourself. Speaking of buying this game, Strafe normally goes for $15 around the time I'm recording this video, and on sale you could get it for half or less. I got Strafe for only like a few dollars, so considering that, in my opinion, it was definitely worth it. Also, if anyone was wondering about the gold edition of this game, I can't really tell you much, I'm sorry. I know it came with a new enemy and a new game mode plus, a ton of bug fixes and quality to life features. It probably just polished up the game. If there's ever another version of this game, I'd probably re-review it, but other than that, I don't really plan on returning to Strafe. Now, I'm not sure if I should start doing numbered ratings because it could disvalue the specifics of a review if you only care about that number at the end of the video. But screw it, whatever, it doesn't matter, it could just be fun to do. In the world of FPS roguelikes, I give Strafe a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I would consider those both pretty good scores, so take that all as you will, but there you go guys, there's my review of Strafe, my first review back at it. Hopefully I did a good job with the quality, the audio, the editing, and even the length of the video, because I notice I don't like watching videos that are too long usually. You know, our attention spans really be lower these days, and I don't care about hitting that 10-minute mark, so whatever. I just hope you guys enjoyed the video. It feels weird hearing myself talk again in editing these videos, but it's like a return to form though. This is the type of video that partially inspired me to make these videos again, just reviewing games and giving my opinions and insight. I felt like it's something fun I could do again to get back into YouTube, so I hope you guys like it. I'll be reviewing different kinds of games, mostly shooters, but I do like my variety, so you guys look out for that. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and comment what you think about Strafe, whether you played it or not. It does feel good to be back, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.